Oh, there we are. All right. Didn't have any sound, but we're back now. What's up, everybody? We're here on episode 3 of the Beyond Legend podcast, where we go beyond a lot of tropes. We go beyond talking about anime and manga. Sometimes we go beyond talking about One Piece. There's so many different things that we do in general. Is there an echo? Y'all can hear an echo? Hopefully there's not an echo. But if you guys can, then I'm wondering where it's coming from. But if there isn't, then we should be all right. Kinda. Like, how bad is it though? You don't hear an echo? Okay. All right. If there's no echo anyway, we'll continue. All right. So, anywho, we're back. Yeah. So last week we had Brother Murphy and Brago on, and we talked about just about everything. We talked about Hunter x Hunter. We talked about Attack on Titan. We talked about the anime and manga industry. We talked about the One Piece fan letter. It was really a nice introduction, and it was the first time Murphy met Brago. So we kind of just talked everything, and Brago went crazy. He went beyond for sure. But it was a funny time. It was a great episode. People loved it on YouTube. So it's gonna be there'll be offline episodes where I'll just post the video on YouTube. There'll be episodes where I do it solo on Twitch. And today's episode is going to be our mental health check. So I used to do this a lot on Twitch, where, I just felt like talking about life, and I felt like sharing that with people because, I might be going through some things, or somebody in the chat will go through some things as well. So it was just a good trend that we had going, and we kind of fell off for a little bit. But since we have this podcast now, I thought, why not have episode where we really just check in. I get to ask some people on Patreon, what some things they want to hear, what some things they want to be vulnerable about. And, so we're just going to go through some questions on Patreons, a question I got from Instagram, questions in the chat, and also just, share with y'all a little bit about what's going on with me. So I just thought, let me just set the tone now, I'd say over the last month and some change, life has been up and down, and more up than down, but it's been just a lot of grinding. It's been a lot of growing. Oh my God. It's been a lot of introspection. It's been, still going through a healing process, and, it's not been the easiest ride, but I know I'm going in a good direction. I know things are going to get better. I know things will be better. I'm having faith, and God has been great to me, right? So that's really where I'm at. And I think as we continue to, if we continue to talk about these things more, we can really do a little check-in as well and see how everybody else is doing. I think for me personally, I don't know if melancholy is the right term. My heart's a little heavy, or like a little slightly downcast. Like, I'm fine, I'm okay, but that's what my emotions are feeling right now. I had a therapy session today, and it was great to hear from my therapist that I've progressed quite a bit in, just learning how to value myself and learning how to, make the right decisions that are aligned with who I am and the people that I want in my life. So it's been I guess it put a lot into perspective. When you look into the past and you see the things that you've gone through, you hear things that have hurt you, and it's your own imagination, like creating perceptions and rewriting things that actually didn't happen, but it's what you perceive. It's like it's just a lot of mental work to fix a narrative that you're telling yourself sometimes, Shout out to Tiara. Hey Jay, I'm a licensed therapist. If you ever are curious about mental health, seek advice, or anything in general, I'd love to help out any fellow rats. I love that, Tiara, and that's awesome. I love that. Definitely shout out to Tiara in my Twitch chat. Anyone needs advice, we got a licensed therapist. We got a licensed rat therapist. We out here. You love to see it. Perhaps slight depression. No, I wouldn't call it depression. I think there's just moments where you feel a little bit melancholy, and there's things you got to deal with, right? So it's a lot, right? And how I deal with that is a lot of faith, right? A lot of prayer, a lot of communion with the Holy Spirit, like just a lot, right? I'm as a Christian, as a believer in Jesus, a lot of my mental work goes through my faith as well, but I also go to therapy, right? Because that is also important. It helps you understand exactly what's going on. It gives you the language to describe what's going on, right? And I think that's what's really important for me, and it helps me understand, right? So I want to hear from the chat. I know for people that are kind of just listening to the audio or probably going to watch the VOD later, like, how are you guys doing? How are you holding up? And then let's get to some questions, because we have some really deep questions from Patreon that I really, really want to get into. And I'm really excited about it. I really want to talk about it. So how are you guys doing in the chat? Like, what's going on? Where's your head at? You know, what's up with y'all? Karen says, doing my best, as you should be. Slime O says, Jay, do you search for deeper meaning of things within sensitive issues? Always. That's something I always do. That's something I always do. Like 100%. Tiara says, faith and prayer has shown to have genuine improvement in brain function, development of insight, cognitive function. It genuinely helps. I agree 100%. I agree. How do I do it? So he's saying, how do I search for deeper meanings in things within sensitive issues? So for me, it's like, I think I just understand that everything is spiritual and kind of things have a spirit to them, right? That's kind of how I've understood it. There's a lot of things that we do that we don't realize are coming from a much deeper place than we think. So like, for example, and this is something I've been personally struggling with, right? I went through a situation, right? I was in a relationship and it didn't work out, right? And I got hurt, and the things I experienced with that person, I just wanted to understand, like, why did this happen to me, and what is it that I did to contribute to this? And, you know, like, kind of digging into this a little bit deeper, I started to realize that there were some things that was wrong with me deeply, that not wrong with me per se, but things I wasn't aware of that was deeply going on. And one of the things that really came out of it was with therapy, with discussion, with talking, and just with some introspection, you know, I was able to realize that I was trying to look for myself in people. Like, I'd see something that I'd gone through, or see something that I'd worked through, and I try to attach myself to that and be like, oh man, I've been there before. Like, let me try and help pull that person out of it. And you're trying to play savior complex, and you can't be anyone's savior. One, it's a little bit pretentious to believe you can save people in the first place, because you really can't. People only save themselves. Only Jesus saves. So like, for me, you know, I had to come to the terms of the fact that I shouldn't be looking for myself in other people. Like, it's very, very dangerous to do. And it took me a lot of time of just going over why I felt the way I did. Why did I feel so wrong? What was it that I was looking for in somebody that just wasn't a good fit for me? And it was really just constantly digging deeper and being scared, not being scared to dig deeper. And I think a lot of the times you don't realize how scary it is to dig deep, because when you dig deeper, you see a lot of things that you do that aren't healthy and aren't good and affect people negatively. And when you see that, it's hard. It's hard to take. It's hard to justify your feelings of hurt while realizing that you've probably hurt somebody else. You probably may have hurt the person that hurt you. You may have realized that you are naive and you put yourself into a situation that you should not have ever put yourself in, but you didn't realize that because you were searching for something you shouldn't have been searching for, someone else, right? So these are things that I had to really face, and it's really hard. It's hard to face them. It's hard to face them. It really, really is. I saw from Monomon 321. I haven't had a good relationship with my mom, but I drove 4 hours away to connect with her again. Now she's busy for the next 3 months. So I've had I had issues with my mom too, growing up. It wasn't anything wild, but we just, how, moms and sons, once you get to a certain age, you kind of want to be free and you want to treat other, you don't want her to treat you like a kid anymore. I'm not saying I know your situation, but I want to say kudos to you because it takes a lot of courage to take that type of action, to connect with someone that you don't have a good relationship with. That level of courage and that level of self-awareness to make an attempt to reconcile goes a long way. You're sowing seeds for the better, right? That is very intentional. That is very strong-minded and strong-willed. And I promise you, that seed you sown, it won't go to waste. We didn't talk for a long time before I drove there. She wanted me to come though, and it was hard for me to go. I bet it was hard, but then more kudos to you for going, right? More kudos to you for going. Like that is really, really strong. And the best thing about it is that if you did it once, it means you'll be able to do it again. You've proven to yourself that you're capable of driving 4 hours to go somewhere that you really don't want to go, but you know the benefit of doing it. So kudos to you. Paths 425. I've been struggling with my sleep and it's been rough, starting to affect my mental state and on how I approach my day. So it's been taking its toll. Bro, I know how you feel. I know how you feel. You literally have to train your body. You got to train your body to get up at a specific time every day. I've learned that it's really not about when you go to bed. It's about every time you wake up. Your body will naturally get used to it. A lot of the things that we do, we really have to train our body to do. There is insomnia and there's, obviously medical ways to get around a lack of sleep. But for the most part, what I'm learned is just, wake up at the same time every day. Unless you're going through something that's different. So, Danny Ford, this has been a rough, this week has been rough. I've been getting less sleep in exchange of getting more hours at work. On top of school, I'm away from home 16 hours a day. It's been taxing on me a lot lately. Yeah, man, you got to find some time to rest, brother. You got to find some time to rest. And by rest, I mean rest your mind. You gotta find some time. Because I'm a Muslim and my religion is always built in faith and heart, and the past 2 years I've been down in the dumps, a lot of bad things have happened. Yes, I have to believe that this is my test, but I just want to have a positive attitude towards these problems that I have. Slimo is someone that feels this at a very spiritual level. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Sometimes it's faith that has to keep you through it. The positive attitude is what you tell yourself. It's really about what you tell yourself. I promise you. It's why people need to read the Bible more. It's why people need to read their Quran more. It's because there's words in there, right? For me, there's power in the word, right? There's power in the Bible. So like there's certain things like there'll be things that you read in Proverbs. There'll be things that you read in the Bible that you can say to yourself, and it helps you reinforce your view of a situation that you're going in to have faith to get out of that situation or to at least make it through that situation, right? Because some people have some terrible, terrible periods of life where it's just like, bro, how am I going to get through this? Like, how am I going to get through this? And it's hard. Like, it really, really is. So, like, I genuinely sympathize with that experience just as someone that has, that is, I don't like the term religious, but let's just use it for, the sake of it, like someone that's religious, right? It's hard to do. It is our test, right? Any hardship that we go through is a test. It's just a test of your mettle. Tiara says the end of a relationship is a form of loss and mourning that can lead to what you are going through. Introspection of self or anger and resentment, deflection, or drowning in devices and denial. The best way to confront loss is to accept and learn and then move into the next best version of yourself. I agree 100%. Jay, how do you deal with people that try to restrict your every movement? You let them go. You let them go. That's what I learned. People that try to restrict your every movement don't have your best interest in heart. There's people that will give you wise counsel and then let you do what you need to do. And if you make a mistake, they will at least give you the counsel. But anyone that's trying to restrict you from what you're supposed to do, they're not respecting your boundaries, especially if you're an adult. If you 21 and up, yeah, bro, you got to let them go. That's it. It's on you. You can't say like you can't stop me from doing this. It's just not gonna work. It's one of the hardest things I had to learn. And I'm still learning it. Because I'm a very impressionable man. So like trust me, yeah. You're 20. The sooner you learn your boundaries, the better you'll be. You're an adult, bro. You're 20 years old. You are grown enough to know and to learn your boundaries. But they keep doing it, then you tell them they have no place in your life. I promise you, the earlier you understand, the earlier you understand that those people, and this is so important. This is the biggest thing I learned. The reason you have your values is to stop people that don't align with you to be around you. The reason you have boundaries isn't to get you what you want. It's to stop things from what you don't want coming into your life. That's what the boundaries are for. Why do you think we have a border? Why is there border control in our countries? It's because we don't want anyone coming in willy-nilly. You follow my rules. You follow you follow everything that I have out here. And if you don't follow it, get out and stay out. It's to protect you. So if people are trying to restrict you from something that you believe you should be doing, they're not your friends. They may have, in their mind, their intentions may not be bad. I promise you, there's a lot of people in your life that won't have bad intentions towards you, but their advice and their values breach your boundaries. You can't have them. They gotta go. I promise you, I'm learning this to this day, and because I'm an empath and I love people, I let people tell me and give me advice that I really shouldn't do that. And I think it's crazy because Aaron Rodgers is not really Aaron Rodgers low-key a terrible nigga. I'm not gonna lie to you, but there's something that he said that caught my ear. And he said, don't take advice from don't take criticism from someone that you wouldn't take advice from. And when he said that, I'm like, wait a minute. If somebody criticized me, but I don't respect you, I don't respect your advice, I don't respect where it comes from, I'm like, that's kind of hard. Now, again, it's hard because it's coming from Aaron Rodgers, and he's just not, you know what I'm saying? He's got questionable character. There you go. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know him, so at the end of the day, I've only know what I've heard. But he's got questionable character. So, take that as you will. For me, it hit, and I'm like, all right, Yeah, questionable people can spit as well. R. Kelly's a criminal, but, Step in the Name of Love was a good song. Two things can be true, right? So it's just like one of that. Like, it's one of those things. What do you say to those who need help and you don't help me? I think that depends on your philosophy. My philosophy is very simple. Christ helped me when he didn't ask for nothing. So I'll help people. I'll be kind. I think the definition of being kind is being nice and kind to being like gentle and kind to somebody even when you don't want to, and probably when they don't even deserve it, to be honest with you. That's the definition of kindness. It's doing things when you don't want to do them. Oh, you meant them? Wait, what do you say to those who need help and you don't help? Oh. And you don't help them? I'm confused. Wait. What do you say to those who need help and you don't? So if I'm saying I don't help them, I choose not to help them. Is that what you mean? I just want to make sure I'm not misinterpreting what you're saying. Because you can't help people unless you can help yourself. That's also another thing I had to learn. That's why you can't save nobody. Not you. So do you mind rephrasing the question? So it's not me. My guess is someone needs help and you want to help them, but I can't actually help. Oh, is what Monomon said? Is that what you were trying to say? Okay, you will type. Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yo, that's funny. Slimo is hilarious. He said, I saw this quote the other day and it was rather funny. Love is like a fart. If you have to force, it's probably shit. Hey, that's kind of a bar. There's a lot of the human language is so beautiful because there's so many different ways to say something, bro. It's a little vulgar, but hey, you know, if it hits, it hits. That's crazy. I'm kind of with it. I'm kind of with it. While we're waiting for Mr. Wiper Art to rephrase his question, let's get to some Patreon questions. Is it S? There it is. All right, cool. So this one is from Lucky Wizard. How does your friends and family view your job? Better yet, how do you explain what your job is to other people? Are you vague about it, or do you tell them every little detail, or do you glorify it as something misleading, such as product reviewer? So this question I found fascinating because I did not tell my family that I was a YouTuber for the first 3 to 4 years of me doing content. My family had no idea. No one in my church, they ain't know nothing. Any super close friends. The only people that knew I had a YouTube channel were like my close friends. That's it. Like my friends, like my close friends. And none of them really understood it. And I know they didn't understand it. So they just thought, oh, it's a nice little hobby. It's neat. Oh, 1,000 subscribers. That's awesome. Wow, so many. And then, you know, it's for me, the reason I did it is because I felt like it was the one place where I could truly be myself and not be hindered. That's why I did it. So they always viewed it as something cute for a long time, right? Like they viewed it as something cute. They viewed it as, oh, he does content about anime. I've never watched anime before. I've watched Demon Slayer. Oh, wow. Dragon Ball Z. Wow. I've seen that. And that's cute. You know, they just, you know, how many subscribers, you know, it was like, they just didn't really, you could tell they just thought it was something cute and creative. And I'm like, all right. And how do I explain it to other people? Like, I told them, like, I react to One Piece. I react to Japanese comics. The best way I normally say it is like kind of underplay and say, yeah, I react to Japanese comics. I react to anime. I've reacted to the anime One Piece. And then if they're curious, I ask more questions, right? If they're curious, I answer. They ask more questions, and I answer, and then they get a little deeper, and they still don't really know, and they don't understand. So they're like, "Oh wow, that's great, wow, right?" So I normally keep it vague all the time. One, because it's not something that I really parade around. People won't know I'm a YouTuber unless my friend, and it's always my friends that are talking about me being a YouTuber. Always, it's never me. It's very, very rare I'll tell someone I'm a YouTuber and tell them what I do. My friends are always the one bragging. Always. Like, oh my God. But only the ones that really, really love, like genuinely love me, they support the hell out of it, right? They supported it earlier on. It wasn't until 50K come in, they start hearing the bread that's coming in. And then I'm telling you, once we start getting that 50K, once you know the 50K subscribers coming in, once there's an extra zero, there's 10K. Once 100K came in, Hollywood, what? My son's got a business. Yeah, and I'm just like, interesting. Can you help me build my YouTube channel? How did you do it? You got to teach me the game, bro. Wow. We should tell everybody. Do you know he has 100K subscribers? Wow, look at him. Wow, he's Hollywood. Yeah, look at, and I'm just like, where did you? I thought it was cute before. I thought we was he and ha and like, oh, it's so cute. He probably got an OnlyFans. Well, what is it now? Now it's a business. Now he's a content creator. He's not just an anime nerdy YouTuber. Now he's a content creator. Do you know what I'm saying? And mind you, I'm not talking about the people that are closest to me because they know who they are and I love them, right? I've quoted some of the things they said, but that's really just for comedic effect, right? So just, if y'all hear it, I'm trolling. But there are people that I know that only saw me as a YouTuber. My YouTuber friend. There's something that I don't like that. I don't like it because all of a sudden people see you differently. And it was weird. It was weird and people looked at me like I'm some sort of celebrity, right? Because to them, they've only seen a big YouTuber on YouTube, but they haven't seen one IRL, regular. So for me, I'm like, I'm a little out there. So like it's weird, but I know when my friends do it, they're doing it out of love. And I can tell when it's out of love and I can tell when it's a little prideful, right? And my favorite thing is when one of my friends say they watched one of my videos and they had no idea what I was talking about, but they loved it anyway. It means a lot to me just because they're supporting, right? It's like, I don't know. It just means a lot to me. It does. Especially if you don't know what's going on, but you're just watching it because you know me. Like, that's so sweet and that's so kind. It's genuinely kind. And to me, it's like you genuinely care. He said, yeah, it means that they're thinking of me. Like my best friend, God, I love my best friend, Jaleesa, right? That's one of my best friends forever, right? I love that girl. That's my bestie. That's my little sister, right? I was hanging out with her in a weekend. We went to a wedding. We were celebrating all of our friends. And she told me that she was watching one of my videos. Just randomly there. And I'm just like, you don't need to do that no more. You're my bestie. You don't gotta do it to support me. But she's like, no, I just like your content. And I'm just like, bro, when it's a really, really close friend that's saying stuff like that, it means the world to you. It really does. And I try to play the nonchalant gimmick, like, haha, that's great, thank you, I appreciate it. I try to play the nonchalant gimmick, like I really wasn't hype, you know what I'm saying? But I was really touched because it's like somebody I know and love, and I have a real life relationship with, and it was really heartwarming. So, shout out to Jaleesa. She's the GOAT. So yeah, that's really how I deal with it. I tend to be vague about it, and I just let other people talk about it. And I just keep it pushing. That's it. I tell people my goals. I tell people my plans. They ask how YouTube's doing. I tell them how I'm doing. And yeah, that's what it is. If she's here today, I don't know. I wouldn't know. She could be. She couldn't be. But yeah, that's my bestie. That's bestie. Yeah, her and her husband, they're super, super supportive of me. Super, super supportive. Jaleesa and Demetrius, my goats. So yeah, I really do appreciate them. I appreciate them. Flame starter. Before I go to the next one, much love, Jay. Just checking in. Appreciate you, Tom. Flame starter. Jay, life has been getting tougher and tougher for the past 8 months. And it's getting harder every week to find an external and internal reason to keep going. I often find myself feeling like a spectator in my own and other people's lives without any meaningful connections with the people I interact with and the things that I do. I'm trying to push through, and your videos have always been a source of joy and laughter in times when I feel like doing anything else but smiling. Thanks. Flames, I appreciate you dearly, and thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. It's the reason I do what I do. It's nice having viewers and, being able to try and do something like this for the living, but I don't see the point of doing any of this if I cannot, at the bare minimum, give people an escape from life, the hard stuff that we're dealing with. And that's really what it is. Like, if there's any advice I can give, if you say you feel like you're a spectator in your own life and other people's life without any meaningful connections, to me that sounds like you haven't taken the time to really learn about yourself. And I'm saying this as somebody that tries to find themselves in other people, and I never really took the time to know myself and to do the things I really like. It sounds like you really need to go on a deep self-discovery journey. And what I mean by that is sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why do I feel that way? And then go on a journey with yourself as to what are you feeling and why are you feeling that way? Did somebody do something to you that pissed you off? If that thing that person did pissed you off, ask yourself, why did that thing that person did piss me off? And where is that coming from? Sometimes you may not have the answer immediately, but the more you ask yourself those questions, the more you're getting to know yourself, because your feelings are information. They're telling you something about you, which means you are literally a soul. There's a soul in this body. There's a spirit in this body. So the things that you're feeling, the emotions that you're feeling, that's information. Do not ignore do not ignore that information. Figure out where that is coming from. That is genuine proof you're alive. That is proof that you feel things. Your feelings and emotions are not something to be ignored. It's about how you regulate them and express them, yes, but don't ever listen to somebody that would ever tell you that your feelings don't matter. Your feelings are literally information. If you ignore that information, you're just going to walk around like an empty husk, ignoring your feelings to the point when you get numb. I'm telling you, there's nothing worse than being numb. There's nothing worse than being emotionally numb. I hate it. It's a terrible experience, and it takes so long to get out of. So my advice to you, start having a real deep dialogue with yourself. And if it's hard and there's some things you don't want to face, that's what therapy's for, is to give you the language to understand the feelings that you're feeling, or talk to somebody that you trust. If you don't feel like you trust anyone, I promise you there is nothing easier than talking to a therapist, because literally they are paid to listen to you yap about your life. And the more you get to know yourself and the more you get to understand your feelings, the more you can find other people that feel the same way. And that's where that relational equity starts building, is in that common unity, right? That's community, common unity, right? Tim Ross said that. So, but yeah, there's other people in the chat as well. Tiara is a licensed therapist, literally, so you could talk to her if you want to, or just hear anything. Yeah, these are all, I love it. I love my community. I love this chat. Let's see. Being Muslim means submitting to the will of God, Allah, of course. We can't pick and choose what God's will is. So when we go through tough times, it's a test and fate written for us by God. God will test us with what we can't handle. Victory is in patience. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. I agree 1,000,000,000%. I do. That's how I feel. That's how I feel with my faith as well. So I love that. I love that. Okay. Let's move on to the next. Was it next? Yeah. Let's move on to the next one from, I'm pretty sure that is Wally? Because there's an I in there. It's Waliy. It's really just Wally. Am I wrong? Someone correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. But anyway, from Wally. What advice would you give to those who have reached a point where they feel life is stagnant and every day is the same as yesterday? Whew, I've been there. And I struggle with that because I get very restless. The best thing I can say is find the beauty in the mundane. Your ability to be content in a time of peace is something that you need to appreciate. I find that the times where things seem really slow, stagnant, every day seems the same day, as long as you're doing one thing, and I'm literally being serious, as long as you're doing one thing that can build on to the next day and to the next day, are you making investments today that could pay dividends in the future? So like, for example, walking 30 minutes a day. It seems boring. It seems mundane. It seems stagnant. But little do you know, you do that every day for a month. There's no way you will not see anything. And it's always the shock, right? It's the shock of, oh my God, what happened to me? In that moment, you're just in the process. The process is boring. The process is mundane. It's content and being content with just doing the same thing over and over again till something happens, right? It's just cause and effect, right? You reap what you sow. It's a universal law, right? So I think I struggled with the fact that after dealing with a lot of hurt and pain over the summer, because my summer was just filled with a lot of pain. Yeah, I never thought about that. I did not have a happy summer. Anywho, I think mid-August, that constant pain or that subtle pain that I was feeling, it just became bearable to the point where it wasn't a pain anymore, and more just like a nagging annoyance that just was just hanging there at the back of my head and wouldn't go away because I was still healing. And then it got to a point where that pain was more of an afterthought. And then I just felt nothing because I'm like, well, I spent so long not being okay, but now I'm okay. I have nothing to fight. What do I do? Life seems like it stopped, right? It's just, what do I do with myself? And it was in that moment where finding the beauty in actually being at peace for once in my life, and the beauty of not being in pain, and the beauty of being able to wake up and it's boring. It's like, do I want to be in pain? Do I always want to be fighting? Or should I just appreciate the time when things are slow and boring? And I think it's that appreciation for just life not being toxic, life not being painful, life not being stressful. It's just there, right? You're safe, like you're actually safe, right? For all you know, like you just, because you never know, right? It's moments like this, that quiet contentness, those moments that you wish you had when you're going through some terrible stuff. You're just like, man, I wish I could just be at peace right now because it sucks. You know how many times when I was going through all that pain in the summer, the amount of times I just was telling myself like, bro, please, I just want to stop crying. I just don't want to feel pain anymore. I don't want to feel worthless. I'm just telling myself, please, if I could just have one day of rest, just one day, where the day's just boring, right? And it's in that when I remembered that and I remember where I'm at now, I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with it right now. I'm okay because I know something else is going to come up and I'm going to have to work. So in that moment where things are stagnant and it feels like every day's the same, just make sure you're doing one thing to benefit yourself. Just make sure. That's what I'd say. All right, next question. From Dame. Please read your where's your comment, Wiper? You finished. Where did you write it? How did I miss it? Where is it? Where did you can you reply to it so I can see it? I don't see it. Or can someone in the chat reply? It's at the top. At the top. Hold on. Oh, click his name. All right, hold on. I don't think it works via Streamlabs for me. Oh, okay. It's like if a person knows someone is in need and they can see what they need help with and they choose not to help. What would you say? I hope this is understandable. Oh! My first instinct? Okay, it depends. You can't help somebody that does not want to be helped. That's important. But me personally, if I know someone is in need, and I know what they need and I know I can do something about it, I'm going to try and do something about it. For me, it just seems a little cold. I think cold is the term I'd use. Unempathetic, right? I'm an empath, so for me, my instinct is to help. My instincts to try and love people, right? I don't like there being tension between me and people. Like if there's a way I can talk through it, I'll try and talk through it, right? But for me in that case, for me, if someone does that, I find it a little cold and harsh. That's what I think. I just think it's cold and harsh, but it all depends on if that person actually wants help or not. Some people can't be helped, but I believe in helping your fellow man in your time of need, because there might be a day when you need help, right? Antipathy, yeah. Meddling is the essence of a hero. I mean, yeah. Like, it's also, right? It's like, do you see your own value in helping that person? It's definitely apathy. If you feel like you have value, give that value to someone that might need it. Do you have any real value if nobody's searching for you for help? Do you have any real value if there's people that can't rely on you? Are you actually valuable if you're not serving people? Like, think about what value really is. Why is a diamond so valuable? Because there's people that want that diamond and place a value on it. So if someone's in need and you have the ability to do so, that is your value in itself. Artificial scarcity is also another thing with diamonds, but that's human beings and shiny things, right? How do you maintain a helpful and initiative taking mentality without feeling like you're integrating yourself? You can offer help, right? But if someone doesn't want your help, don't give it to them and leave it at that. Just don't be forceful about it. Like, just know that you shouldn't take anything personally. If you feel like you can provide value, do your best. If it doesn't work, it didn't work. You got to keep having the boldness and the bravery to do it. What if no one appreciates and wants your service and don't recognize your service? That's on them. If they can't, there's people that won't see your value. There's some people that just won't see it. It is what it is. That's why there's breakups in the world. There's broken relationships, broken friendships, divorces, you know? Yep, you do what you can. Exactly. Jay, I have a question and you can answer this whenever you feel like it. So back in ninth grade, I went through a hard time because of how much pressure was riding on me because of my school year. The pressure that was put on me by my father was so bad that it even affected my relationship with my mother, who I have an iron tight relationship with now, thank God. Because of that, I went through a time where I felt that being emotionless was the best solution. I found that anger was the best solution. What would you do in the situation? Oh, that's happened to me before. I think people express themselves differently. Right? That's what I think. I think you are young, and in that time when you're young, you don't have, your brain is still developing, right? Having incredible emotional intelligence at that age is tough. So unfortunately, it's like your hands were tied. Like, that's how you processed it in the moment, and you later on learned that's not the best, right? So give credit to yourself for getting there, or at least being self-aware enough to explain that. Because some people, Slime, can't even explain that. Some people can't explain that. They can't. So the fact that you're able to recognize that means you've done more than half the work. It's about finding another way to express yourself. And you know what? What Karen says isn't wrong, because anger is an expression. It's an emotion. It's about how you channel the anger. Yeah, it's really about how you channel it. A lot of people that are fighters, that are competitors in sports, professional sports and combat sports, they channel that anger through their sport. People channel their anger through lifting. People channel their anger through content. Do you know why? Like, the reason I do this YouTube stuff sometimes is because I was so angry that I loved anime, but I felt weird about it. I just felt like there wasn't people that understood me. So I was angry. I was like, yo, man, I don't have a community. I don't have people to relate to. So I was like, let me just go on YouTube and express myself. And all that passion that comes out, that frustration, some of it is anger. Yeah. So, it's really all about how you channel the anger. You have to, it's really, because anger is a hard emotion to control as well. So, Ayman. Jay, how would you deal with resentment? I thought that getting older would help, but it doesn't. I just have a deep hatred towards my parents. I love them, but they only been getting in my way. I generally feel helpless, and I just keep going in hopes that things to change someday. It's exhausting. Whew. When it comes to resentment, and I've dealt with resentment. My God. You have to talk. You have to communicate what it is that's frustrating you. Because if you have resentment, it means you're not communicating. It means that there needs to be communication. If they can't hear you, and if they won't be willing to hear you out, say what you have to say, get it off your chest, and let things be as they are. Because resentment means you're holding on to something. That's what it means. You're holding this anger and this pain and this person doesn't understand me. They didn't understand me. And you're just holding on to that anger. You need to communicate, whether it's to them, to a therapist, to a friend, and keep communicating and keep talking until you figure out where the source of that resentment is coming from. And then sometimes my parents are great. So this is not something I'd ever have to do. My parents are loving. I've had my issues with my parents, but I always knew they loved me. I always knew they loved me, and I always knew that they wanted the best for me, right? We just had differences. There are some parents, however, that won't be good for you. They just won't. Sometimes. I'm genuinely saying this. I would say talk to a therapist first beforehand, because, I'm not a licensed therapist, and I also don't know the context of your situation. But there are some parents that they're broken too. And they don't know how to deal with their trauma, so they take it out on others. And they don't understand that some of the things that they say, they don't know how it affects you, right? Some parents do lack self-awareness. And if it is a case where your relationship with your parents is causing severe resentment and you don't have a place to communicate it, or there isn't at least a line of communication that you can have, you just need to escape the environment. Take some space, move out, take some time away, reflect. It's hard. It's also hard without context, but yes, it's hard. A fire dose, Jay, thank you for giving us these shorter streams. It's really amazing to have spiritual talk. I came for the chopper hate. Hope you have some of the chopper hate memes I cooked, but stayed for these interactions with the community. Really appreciate you. Appreciate you too, sir. Jay, you're a religious person, so my question is, do you believe people curse each other? Not like swearing, but actually curse you? Yes, I believe your words have power. I believe your words have power. Let me explain to you what a curse is like. We're just talking about like abusive parents, right? Or like, we're talking about how there can be some bad parents. So emotional abuse is a way to curse somebody. The things that you say to people that leave a deep wound and a scar, those words latch onto your mind and your psyche like a cancer, and it sticks there and it grows bigger and bigger as more life experiences feed that curse. Bro, it just gets bigger and bigger, and until you break it, until you dispel that, that's a curse. Emotional and verbal abuse is a curse. And people don't understand that, which is why people say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words never hurt me. That is bullshit. It's bullshit. Watch what you say. You can't just say whatever you want. It does not work that way. That is a lie. It's the biggest lie I've ever heard. Watch what you say to people. You can't just say whatever you want. The things you say have a genuine effect on people, especially if they care about you, if they love you, if they're family. The things that you say, people don't forget those things, especially if it hurt them. They don't forget. They always remember. I promise you they do. So you say, do I believe in curses? You bet I do. And it's because we're so spiritually numb and dead that we don't understand what a curse actually is, because it seems like magic and it's fantasy. No, this stuff is real. Your emotions, your soul tells you this stuff. It's real. It's genuinely real. I'm getting passionate. God, you gonna have me sweating in my own studio. It's just that you don't think that your emotions are connected to your spirit. That's the problem. That's what I call someone that's like completely blind to their spirit and their soul. This stuff affects you deeply. It's a deep wound and manifests in your subconscious, in your soul. I like to think your subconscious and your soul are virtually the same thing, if not connected. I'm pretty sure there's a scientist out there that can really explain that to me at a deeper level. But I'm speaking practically here. And we forgot those lessons. Why do you think people do yoga? Why do you think there's cults out there? Why do you think people follow horoscopes? Why? Why do you think people do LSD? Why do you think people do all this stuff? Because they're trying to feel something. They're trying to feel something deeper every single time. So for you to reject your spirit is the most dangerous thing you can ever do in your life. Because once you realize that there's another level to this life, there's things that you say that don't just hit somebody's mind, you're hitting their spirit and you break them. Think about slavery. Think about what they used to do in slavery. They break the man. They break his spirit. That's why slavery is vile and disgusting, because you have to break somebody's spirit and change their entire mentality, their entire view of themselves. You change their soul to be subservient and inferior. That is spiritual wickedness. That's why people get so upset. So when I'm telling you all these things, bro, sticks and stones may never break my bones. Well, sticks and stones break your bones and words hurt you too. So don't be fooled by that, man. Don't be fooled by that at all. I'm telling you. That's why, bro, I'm telling you. That's why lying, being deceitful and malicious, manipulative, it's bro, I'm telling you, it's malicious. It's nefarious. Saying something that you don't mean at all to take advantage of somebody is malicious. It's genuinely malicious. So next time you're not being intentional about what you say, have some self-awareness. Have some self-awareness, please. Yeah, bro. I believe in curses. I do. And I hope I'm not coming off as pretentious. I'm talking from what I've seen, you know. This stuff is coming out of deep inside of me, bro. Pause. But it's coming from deep inside of me, dog. Like I'm so serious. You know. I'm speaking yeah. I'm speaking from the soul here. I'm speaking from the soul, bro. Um is this going to be uploaded to Patreon or YouTube? It'll be uploaded to Patreon and it will be uploaded to YouTube. A little bit edited, but it will be on YouTube as well. It will be. It'll probably go on Patreon faster because the patrons need to see the questions answered, right? So just so yeah, it'll be uploaded. It'll be uploaded. All right, on to the next Patreon question. How do you build up your confidence enough to understand your own self-worth? It's something that I've struggled with for a while, so I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it. Um, this has been my personal journey my entire life. Dame, this has been my personal journey my entire life. Whew, where do I start with this one? My first real step to my self-worth was communicating how I felt. Communicating how I felt and what was going on with me to one person that I felt most safe with. That one person is my best friend Valerie, right? There was a time where I was able to just tell her everything that went on with me. And in that moment, I felt seen and I felt heard, and I started to take control of my life back. I had another friend named Josh who helped me get into the gym, and it's like, yo, I want you to see yourself the way that we see you. Like, I want you to get healthy. I want you to do this. Fantastic, right? Great help. Got me to great, massive help, right? And that's where it started, but there was a lot of damage and there's a lot of self-worth I needed to get through. And I had to dig a lot deeper into my childhood, right? You have to understand why you do the things the way you do, how those things that you do affect your own perception of yourself. And once you understand those things, that's when you can start correcting. That's when you can start making little corrections. Like, okay, I'll be very vulnerable, right? So this is a big issue I've had. This is a big issue I had because of the way I was raised, right? No shame at all, right? This is just how it was affected me because my parents raised me like to be a great man. I am who I am because of God and my parents. So, you know, this man that you love, you know, thank the parents. You know, they cooked. But because I grew up in a strict Nigerian household, very religious, you know, and I went to church all the time. My whole idea of love came from the fact that I had to please people. So I felt as though I had to always be nice, always be impressive, always be well spoken, always make sure that I don't look bad for my parents. Like, I'm representing my parents everywhere I go, right? So I felt like as long as I worked hard enough to be good, that I'd get love. That's how I saw it, right? That's how my brain worked, right? And then, you know, my mother, very caring, very loving woman as well. So when you have that type of when you're raised in that manner, and with your mother, you want your mother's love, obviously. So I had that same mindset towards my mother. So as a result of that, I always felt like I had to be good enough to have the approval of my mother. My mom already approved of me. It was a warped mentality that I had, that I believed that I needed, because I talked to them about this and they was like, yo, we've always approved of you. Like, where did this idea come from? And it wasn't until I talked about it that we figured it out, right? So anyway, what this developed into is that I tried to see myself. I only really saw the value of myself in women. So if there was a girl I liked or there's a girl that liked me, I felt valuable. I'm like, great. Oh, I'm up. This is fantastic, right? That was translated because I always believed that I had to work for the love for my mother, or I had to be good for the love of my mother. And it came from her, from her approval. That translated to other women. So, I'd always find myself trying to see my own value. I never really saw it, right? Sanji, hey, imagine, right? Why do you think I relate to Sanji so much, right? There you go. So I kept doing this for a while, and it got to a point where I almost felt like the validation of women was everything, right? I needed it. And if I didn't have it, I felt worthless. But it's unsustainable because at the end of the day, you're not looking at women for who they are. You're looking at them you're trying to find yourself in a woman. Over and over again, I'm trying to see my value in a morally free agent. So the moment that woman decides, oh, you know what, I don't feel like talking to him today. Or you know what, I'm not interested anymore. Guess what? You got an internal crash out and you got to go find another woman to attach yourself to so you feel good again. That's why fuckboys like to sleep with a bunch of women, because they're doing the same thing. They're not going to speak about that, but that's a whole other conversation. Is it objectifying or projection? I think it's both. I genuinely think it's both. So I think as I started to go to therapy, as I started to unpack everything that was going on, yes, it's also an attachment style. Exactly. Anxious attachment style, right? So eventually I got to a point in time in my life where my therapist helped me see this. And it was like, do you notice a trend with all the women that you talk to? And I was like, I think so. And as we unpacked, the failed relationships and the talking stages and situationships and all that stuff, I started to see what I was doing. And I'm like, I thought I was a good guy, but I'm not even seeing these women for who they are. I'm only seeing them for what I can get out of it. And mind you, I think I'm a kind person, but just because I have the great capacity to be good doesn't mean that I'm not messed up. It sounds like I used to be a fuckboy. I was. Yes, I was. Let's be honest. You use the term wholesome, but yes, I was. I'm just literally going to be, yeah. So it's like at this point, like I'm leeching off their validation. So what would happen is that I would find another woman that's leeching validation off me. And we're doing it to the point where like I'm used up. They've used whatever they need and they can leave willy-nilly. And I'm like, oh, boo-hoo, woe is me. And I just go hop into the next toast and that's it. And I keep going. So it took me a year and a half of constant therapy to realize what I was doing. And this is when it really hit me. What I wanted wasn't really approval and validation. What I truly wanted, what my soul actually wanted, was intimacy. And once I realized that I was looking for validation and approval in these women, I took a step back and I'm like, okay, well, what do I want? What type of woman do I want in my life? Wait, who am I? What do I like? What matches me? Once I started to think that way, then I'm like, wait, what can I do? What do I do? What do I want to be, right? So then I started doing, I was doing the YouTube thing. I started to see the value in me doing well in YouTube, working a full-time job as well. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So, I'm working a full-time job. I'm doing YouTube. I'm doing Patreon. I'm doing Twitch. I go to church every Sunday. I love God. I pray every day. I love my friends. I take care of my friends. I show up for my friends. I'm literally seeing myself. And I'm like, wait, I do all this stuff? Wow, Jay is great as he is. There's nothing wrong with me. There's things I need to fix, but I'm okay. I am okay. and I'm okay alone. And once I'm telling you, I'm starting to get this, but like, I'm telling you, bro, it's like, bro, you get so frustrated with yourself when you look in your past, and I'm like, man, I was trying to see myself in somebody, but I didn't value myself. And it breaks my heart. I think it breaks my heart deeply to see how I try to look for myself in people. It also breaks my heart that what I thought was good intentions and trying to be a lover boy and to love people was actually me putting immense amount of pressure on people by placing the responsibility of my happiness on their shoulders. That was one of the hardest things I had to handle. Because when I'd get hurt, I'd be so hurt. And then just making that realization that, do you know how frustrating it would be for somebody to feel like your mental state is solely contingent on how you behave? I was like, oh my God, that is toxic. Oh my God. That is so toxic. And it's so hard to accept that fact because you just really want to be loved. You just want intimacy, but you can't do that to people. It's too much pressure. It's not fair. People can't handle that. So I look at my past relationship and I did that. And despite the hurt that I went through, it's almost as if that's what's allowed me to let go, is for me to realize that, man, I was toxic, man. Man, that wasn't fair. And it sucks because you want to be the victim, right? You want to feel justified in your pain. And you were hurt, right? That's fine, that's fine. But like, bro, it's one of those, and that's why they say sometimes the truth hurts. It hurts to think about. But the other side is you become so much stronger afterwards. You become so much more self-aware. Like, that realization for me has made me realize and made me catch myself in things I shouldn't be involved in, has made me be able to see things the way they are, has made me able to see people that are just not for me, people that don't serve me. That's me. All that entire process I just explained is a journey of me realizing how much I'm actually worth. Because I decided to stop looking for my worth in other people and see it in myself, and I start to respect myself. And once I start to respect myself, I start to praise myself. I start to look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, yo, bro, you did this, you accomplished this, but you need to do this so you can be here in 5, 10, and 10 years. You can be this in 15 years, right? All that planning for yourself, all that, bro, I'm telling you, that is it. That's where you want to be. So that's how you build the confidence. You build the confidence by facing yourself. There is nothing, one of the hardest things you can ever do in your life is face yourself. It's one of the hardest things you can do is face yourself. Once you can stand up to yourself and you can face yourself and keep digging deeper, you're the strongest person in the room. I got to deal with me for 24 hours. You couldn't deal with me for 24 hours. You're not stronger than me. And guess what? I still got a lot of work to do. I had a therapy session today. I'm still going through therapy. I'm still making dumb decisions. Still. But I'm a much better man than I was a couple of months ago. I'd like to think I am. I think I am. I think I'm getting smarter. I'm seeing the evidence of it, and I'm going to keep going. Jay, I would normally never tell anyone this, but this has been bothering me for so long. How do you fight off the temptation to watch corn? Sometimes I feel it so strong and I'm about to give in. Sometimes I have to pinch myself to stop. So how do you stop it? Slimo, you have no idea how many men struggle with what you struggle with. As a man that has struggled with this and that struggles with this too, it's the same thing I said about alcohol. You are trying to escape something. When you go to that, you are trying to escape from something, and you find comfort in that. You're finding comfort in it because it gives you the dopamine rush and it helps you feel good in the moment, but then you feel shame afterwards. So what you need to do is you need to understand, ask yourself, why do I want to do this? And what am I feeling? What am I feeling? And all this stuff I'm hearing this from someone called Tim Ross, who talked about this as well, because he dealt with porn addiction too. As men, a lot of us are quiet about it and we don't say anything, but we do. So one, you're brave as hell. First of all, I respect you 100% and thank you for sharing that. What I have heard and what I've been practicing is literally like, what am I feeling in this moment? Why do I want to do this? Even if you fall, even if you slip up, oh, damn it, I slipped up. Ask yourself why you did it. And then here's the hard part. You have to train your body to find satisfaction somewhere else. That is the hardest part, because what you're doing is every time you go there, your body gets that urge. And I know you know what this is. Your body gets that itch and it gets that urge where you're just like, this is how we regulate. This is how we regulate. We have to do this. We have to go to it. Go, 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 go. Your body will scream at you. Your body literally feeds on it. That's why it's so dangerous. You need to replace it with something. And one, you have to know where it's coming from. You have to know what you're escaping from. You have to know what you're escaping from. That's what it is. It's the same thing with sex. It's literally, bro, it's the same thing with sex. It's the same thing with casual sex. It's the same thing with all of that. We all do it because we're trying to feel good. That's it. You're trying to feel good, but the problem is that it's short-lived and it's cheap. And it's hard to resist because your body wants it. And it feels good. It's hard. It's hard. But don't feel ashamed. Just do your best to fight it and to replace it. And there's people that have beat it. That is my hope. He beat it so I can beat it too. He did it so I can do it too. Give yourself small goals. I went a week without watching porn. W. Let's go. We out here. I went a month without doing it. I went 48 hours without doing it. W. Let's go. Let's get to 72. But start somewhere. Does counting days where you don't do good? I like to think it does. It gives you positive reinforcement. He said if he beat it, I can beat it too. Shut up, Momo Beck. You ain't shit for that. Yeah, that's crazy. Nah, but I get you. Nah, I get you. I get you. That is crazy, yo. That's why you can't take niggas nowhere, dog. That's why you can't take niggas anywhere, bro. I promise. He said sorry. Yo, you can't take niggas anywhere. I love it. Oh my God. That's funny, bro. But yeah, man. That's it. Just know you're not alone, bro. And just keep going for it. Just keep going for it, bro. It's okay. You know, it's okay, bro. The fact that you can talk about it is proof that you want to stop. We all going through it. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. It's all right. Jay, would you say your past relationships caused you emotional damage? Absolutely. 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 There's some things I've been through that I just cannot share openly. I can't. I'm not ready to. Not ready to. I'm sure there will be a time in the future, but right now, nah, I ain't ready. Not ready. Not at all. It's hard to make a first step when you're stuck in a rut. Oh, trust me, I know. Trust is intimacy for me. Monkey D Kush, I agree. I realized what true once I started to learn that I wanted intimacy, I started to see what was intimacy and then what was like cheap, casual, counterfeit intimacy, right? Um, and I think for me personally, some people have different definitions. Intimacy to me is just knowing that somebody always, I can be my complete self with somebody emotionally, spiritually, and physically. If I feel safe at all three levels with you and it's under the boundaries of commitment to each other, that's intimacy right then and there. If I know that you here to stay, that you know, that you're choosing me every day. Hey, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. You're safe emotionally, mentally, and physically. That's intimacy. That's it right there. Being vulnerable, sharing that with me. That's what I crave. And that's what I've been craving. But I wasn't intimate with myself. The moment I became intimate with myself, no pun intended, of course, I became intimate with myself emotionally and spiritually, boy, I understood what intimacy really went. Once I really started to, and I'm telling you, it's funny thing is this is still answering that same question, right? For Dame, there is nothing more intimate than asking yourself how you're feeling and being able to talk yourself through your feelings, come to a decision on why you feel how you feel, and then communicating it. That's self-love. Because now you're representing yourself. Now now you're your own big brother, your own big sister. Now you stepping up like, oh, this how we feeling? I got you. Let's talk about it. Let's tell them niggas what you feeling. That's you taking care of yourself. That's you being intimate. That's you being safe within yourself. And I had no idea that's what it really meant until I actually did it. That's what it means to love yourself. It's knowing that you can come to yourself, talk about what's going on, have a healthy conversation, or talk about it with somebody else who is safe as well. Because sometimes you don't have all the answers, and then you go to someone else who's safe. Those are the niggas that are your real friends. Those are the people that know you love them. Who is the first person that comes to mind when you're feeling real vulnerable and you're real scared and you're like, oh, I should call that person. That's somebody that's a safe person right then and there. And you know it too. You always know who's safe and who isn't. Don't play stupid because you know. There's always a couple people that come to mind like, oh, I can tell that person. I can call that person. Those are your real friends. You always know who your real friends are. You're not an idiot. You're not stupid. You know. Those are your safe. That's your safe space right then and there. You can always tell off the bat, like, oh, I can call that person. Yep, I can tell them. That's it. So, you know, it'd be like that. All right, next question. Does it count when you call them drunk at 3 a.m.? Karen, stop it. Next. Okay, this is the one I really... So, I saw this from Acoustic Toad in Patreon, and I really, really wanted to ask this question. I really wanted to answer this question. This is such a great question. Ari, I appreciate you, love you, and have a good sleep. All right. Okay. With the passing of my aunt in May, I found that sometimes I could not find comfort of consolation from friends and family like I have in the past. My answers to how I move forward during this difficult time came to me when I reflected alone. I am happy to say that I'm feeling less lost and managing my grief better. Today, after everything, I now feel a disconnect between me and some of my friends that wasn't there before. My question is, do you have any advice or reflections on how to navigate growing apart from a friend/peers? P.S. Found your content back in Wano and love your collaboration with the larger community. Appreciate you, Acoustic Toad. This is an excellent question. This is a great question. I I'm going through this season right now of my life, and if there's one thing I can say, right? When you go through grief and you process it, you come out stronger. You come out stronger and you come out a different person. Sometimes after that transformation, that growth that you've had, there's some people that no longer fit in your life anymore. And that's just how people and relationships are also in seasons. There's people that are meant to be at your life in a certain period, and there's some people that are meant to eventually just become acquaintances that you check in with every 1 or 2 years, or you run across and be like, hey, what's up? I think it's one of the hard things in life. It's something I've really started to learn. It's what gave me the courage to come back to Delaware. It's what's given me the courage now to probably move away from Delaware and Philly in the future and find a whole new environment. Why? Because I know where this stage of life that I'm in, there's things that I want, right? You know, I want to try and do this stuff full time, you know, start businesses, build something, right? Just get my voice out there, you know, just really learn and appreciate the gifts that I've been given and not put them to waste. And once I have that mentality after the hardship I went through this summer, it made me realize that I need to be around people that have the same mentality and want to go in the same direction that I do. I've lost people that were in my childhood, but I haven't lost someone like super close to me. So I haven't gone through grief when it comes to loss, like death in a family, right? But I've gone through heartbreak. I've gone through severe heartbreak, right? Where I had to grieve heavily, right? So, with that grief and in that grief and me sitting with that pain for so long, it made me stronger. It made me mentally stronger. It made me be able to handle harder and tougher things. It made me tougher on myself too. So like once that happened, I started to see things differently. I was like, I don't want to go through what I went through. And what are the things that I saw that I want to avoid that I did? And are there people that reinforce that old behavior that got me in a bad situation beforehand? And once I start seeing that, I'm like, all right, well, I can't hang around them too much anymore. It just ended up being like that. And it's tough. And it doesn't mean you can't love them. You love them. You still love them. I still love them. If they ever need help, I'm there. I'm teleporting there. I got you. But some people just grow apart, and that's just how it is, especially when you get older. It just happens. Everyone's busy. Not to mention, they're going through changes too. So I really think it's like, you just got to accept it. And I promise you, as friends, peers, as they grow apart, you're brought together with more like-minded people. As long as you keep going in that direction, you're going to run into other people. And they're going to fill your cup the way your other friends used to fill your cup in the past. And that's okay. That's okay. Tiara. Jay, I lost my baby brother when I was 10, like literally a baby. Held him in my arms and all. Loss and grief drove me to drugs, and that led me to only further loss. Then I got sober, and my best friend committed suicide while I was in a halfway house. To focus on only things I lost rather than how I can cherish the limited time I have in this life that I am certain I know I have. That is when my connections became far more meaningful, and I became such a grateful person simply to be alive. Man, TR, you strong, man. You a strong girl. You are strong. Yeah. You are strong. And I respect you for that. 100%. And thank you for opening up as well. I appreciate that. That's tough. But that's also a beautiful message. And for anyone that heard that and read that, maybe that will help somebody out too. that's dealt with loss, because I haven't dealt with loss like that. I haven't. So, yeah, you strong. Oh, you're a guy. Oh, my bad. Sorry. I see Tiara. I see Tiara and I see Pink, and I'm like, oh, how did I zoom? Oh, I'm ashamed, but I appreciate you, Tiara. You a strong nigga. There it is. We switching it up. That's crazy. That's crazy. Killed the whole moment. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Killed the whole moment. Okay. Exception. Yo. Yo, that is hilarious. Oh my God. He said we assuming in 2024. Yeah, just cancel me now, bro. Just cancel me now, bro. It's over. It's over. Just cancel me, bro. I'm done. But what's up, Kev? I appreciate you, bro. It's nice to see how genuine a lot of responses are to the topic and chats and very respectful energy. Oh, Tiawa. Okay, there you go. But yeah, bro, honestly, that's really what this is, the community I've always wanted to cultivate. You know, when we're trolling around with rats, that's what we do. That's what Agenda's about. We just do dumb stuff and laugh all the time. And then there's times where we get serious. That's what this podcast is all about, right? You know, we go beyond what we're going beyond, bro. We're going beyond normalcy. We're going beyond limits and, you know, beyond the walls that you have. You can use the beyond gimmick for anything, you know. And then, as you just saw, we went beyond serious to unserious out of nowhere. Now we're just being unserious again. So that's how it's supposed to be, right? That's the community we have. So yeah, that's where we at. That's where we at. He said we're going even further beyond. I need a what's it called? I need to get a soundboard, man, and to go even further beyond. Yeah, nah, I need that. Yeah, we need a soundboard for the next stream. So we'll do that. We'll definitely do that. Mouse in the house, rat in the streets is hilarious. Oh, yo, I forgot. We used to terrorize Karen, bro. Nah, Karen, that's a trauma response from Karen. We used to terrorize her with these quotes, bro. Yeah, nah, that's just a trauma response. Let her be, bro. Yo, that is a trauma response, bro. Look at her. I'm crying. Oh, all right. Next up, how do you deal with a lack of motivation to do things in general? Like past hobbies you enjoyed and they're just not enjoyable now. It's kind of happening to me with drawing, but just curious to hear your thoughts on that. A lack of motivation. Sometimes you have to do things even when you're not motivated. And I think it depends on what you want to get out of it, right? Like some hobbies you grow out of and you find new hobbies. So it's okay to find something else. For you, drawing is like, why do you draw? Do you just draw for fun? Are you a creative and you need inspiration? Maybe you need some time to be inspired. For me, it was always a plan. I had a goal in mind. So even when I'm not motivated, I know I have to do this one thing for the goal I have in mind. And I think that's the essence of being a content creator, right? There's a lot of videos we don't want to do. There's a lot of editing that some people don't want to edit. Thank God for me, I have an editor, but like there's things that I don't want to do. But because I have to consistently post content in order to grow the channel, to feed the rats, I gotta do it. And that goal motivates me. So just have a goal. Just have a goal in mind. And with hobbies, if you're only doing hobbies to escape and it's not hitting no more, do something else. Try something else. Yeah. Alrighty. Mainly it's what you want to get out of the situation. Yep, I agree. For me, oftentimes when doing things, just starting something, even if it's a little thing, can often turn into pursuing something bigger. Yes, I agree. I agree. Alrighty, next question. Bionic Flover. I think I said that. Well, it's flower with two V's, but yeah. I haven't been a part of this community long, but these questions and answers have generally helped me with questions I've had for my own life. Thanks, Jay and chat. Of course. That's what we here for, bruh. We got you. Caleb D. When you're sad, do you find a greater comfort in sad media or uplifting media? Love the community you try and cultivate, Jay. For me, when I'm sad, normally when I'm sad, I kind of go to prayer. I go to my faith, I read my Bible, and I try to, get in touch with God, right? Because I believe in God, because I believe in Jesus, I believe he's there. I believe I actually hear from him. Like I believe all these things. So for me, when I'm sad, I just know I'm not alone, right? That's how it works for me. So, I sit down with myself and I ask myself why I'm sad, right? And I find greater comfort in something that's more uplifting. To really answer the question directly, it's uplifting media. Because if I get sad and I start listening to sad media, it keeps me in that sadness. And I just didn't want to stay in that sadness sometimes, and some people's like, yeah, I just want to get in my bag, and I listen to what, and there are times where I do it and I try to get myself out of it, because sometimes you just want to feel what you feel, right? So like, it's okay to feel your feelings, just don't stay there. Basically, yeah, it's basically what T always said, is that I listen, there's the Odd Taxi theme song, right? I'll be listening to the Odd Taxi theme song sometimes when I just be in my bag, bro, and it's a night drive. I'm driving home from the studio, and I'm just like, you know what, bro? Let's just be mellow today. Let's be mellow, bro. And I'll just be in my bag. I'm like, man, we going through it today. Then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, all right, well, we can't stay here, so let's move on, And that's it. We just can't stay here. That's it. Just don't stay there. But I prefer uplifting, probably uplifting. That's why I started to listen to Christian music a lot more, because it's always uplifting, right? So, hey. Do we have any more? We do. Overlord Bliss, what do you find most important in your own life that allows you to love yourself in your day-to-day life? I went down my own dark path over the years, and I'm now in a great spot myself. Just curious on how you yourself do it. I think I did answer that question. I'm pretty sure I did, because it's kind of overlapping with how do you see your own self-worth. But day-to-day life, I just check in with myself. I check in with myself constantly. Anytime I feel something, I ask myself why I feel something. I do small little things that make me feel good. One thing that I love doing a lot is I love fasting for till 12 o'clock. Because my body, it's like my mind is very alert when I fast, and I have some coffee to curb the hunger. And in that moment, I feel very, very productive. And whenever I feel productive, every time I eat my first meal, I feel like I earned it, and it just tastes so much better. And that's a small thing I've been doing to the point where I actually enjoy it. I enjoy doing a little mini fasts here and there. I haven't done a 24-hour fast. I'm sure I can now, because I've been practicing it for a while. And eventually I'll do a 7-day fast and some other stuff like that, and eventually try and do Lent. But just small things like that really motivate me. Helps a lot. So yeah, hope that answered the question. Didn't you say you were gonna fast today? I did. I didn't eat till 5 o'clock today. I had a very productive day too. Always have a productive day when I do this stuff. So, I think that's all the questions. Yes, it is. All right. So There's one question I got from IG. Let's check Instagram. This question is from Big CEO on Instagram. Was there ever a point in your life, was there ever a point in your YouTube career or your personal life where it didn't feel like you didn't have like-minded people to talk to? I mean, do you speak about your family? I mean, you do speak about your family, but if you're anything like me, when it comes to anime YouTube or just going from something that goes against the grain, yeah, wait, I'm not reading this correctly. Hold on. If you're anything like me, when it comes to anime, YouTube, or just going for something that goes against the grain, I'm from Jamaica myself. It seems like you can become an alien within your own family. Not necessarily hatred, but just a lack of understanding. How did you cope with that? Did creating the YouTube and immersing yourself within the anime community and choosing to become a public voice give you the opportunity to meet the boys like Brago and etc.? 100% it did. 100% it did. The reason I created a YouTube is because I used to watch people like Cole and Brago. And I just felt like I related to them so much with the things they would talk about. And I felt seen by a lot of the things that they said and their mannerisms, their sense of humor. I felt seen. I'm like, oh my God, these people make anime jokes and basketball reference jokes as well. So once that happened, I'm like, man, I just want to do this stuff too. I feel like I can do it. And that's when I just started streaming to myself. And you notice if you're an early JD Legend watcher, I used to have the streams like Brago used to have, because, it was like I wanted to have my own little BDA too. I wanted to have my own little community that I can relate to in a way. And it was the best decision I've ever made. It is the one place where I felt like I could be 100% myself and not feel judged. So, yeah, I felt that isolation. I felt that frustration. I felt that lack of understanding. And sometimes I think I just had to accept some people are just not going to understand. And that's okay. And personally, I think it's up to people like us to foster communities where people can feel seen. Right? I think DreamCon, when there was like 20 of us that went to DreamCon, it was one of the best trips we've all ever had because all of us felt seen. There was no drama. There was no beef. It was just laughter, trolling, Stebo smacking roaches, Matt screaming, we in here butt ass naked for no reason at all. To this day, I don't know why he said that. But we all agree that was one of the best trips we've ever had. If y'all can ever hear that 60 Wings story, oh my God. Matt B talking about 60 Wings is one of the funniest moments I've ever had in my life. It was just the craziest thing I've ever heard that nigga say. I was like, what's wrong with him? Yeah. Boy, and Brago was trolling Matt that day. Oh, we were howling. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning. We were howling of laughter, bro. Oh my God, man. So ridiculous. Ridiculous, dog. But yeah, man, it's really, that's why don't be afraid to put yourself out there because you never know who's around you. Don't hide who you are. That's it. Don't hide who you are. As long as you're, as long as you're socially aware and self-aware, don't hide who you are. So, yeah. That'll be my answer to that question. Yeah, I think that's all the questions. I think we got through all the questions. We got super vulnerable today. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we shared a lot. Absolutely, TR. TR. I might just call you Tia for real. I ain't gonna lie. And that's crazy because, yeah, I don't know what to say. TR was like a tongue twister. But absolutely, yeah. Anyone that is a professional, yes, your professional expertise is 100% wanted and needed. So by all means, feel free to interject, correct. This your expertise. So we're all open for it. Have I seen the Ballon d'Or? Yes, I have. I believe Roger deserved to win. And I think Real Madrid are being babies about it. But you know, that's a discussion for another time. But guys, I think this has been a powerful stream slash podcast episode. I shared things I did not think I would share today. We talked about things I didn't know we talked about today, but I just feel like if this podcast episode can help one person, then it's worth recording. I want to thank everybody in my chat and the rats and Patreon for being so vulnerable, because there's not enough bravery in this community. There is not enough transparency in this community. There is not enough vulnerability and self-awareness in our community. And the more we can do this, the better off we're all going to be. Because I think we're all benefited. I benefited today. I ain't going to lie about y'all. I feel like I benefited greatly from y'all today. So this was he said, label it JD therapy. Maybe, bro. Maybe. We'll see what we label it. Of course, Makis, appreciate it. So this is awesome. If you guys want to go back and listen to this again, listen to it as many times as you can. If there's more questions you have for me, I'll let you know when we do the next mental health stream, because I don't plan on just doing this one time. This is the reason I wanted to do this podcast in the first place, is because this is literally a part of who I am. I love deep introspective conversation. I love talking about this stuff. It helps me process everything that I've been through. Like, I was processing as I was talking to you guys. So don't think this is just me shouting on some don't think this is me just virtue signaling. I'm living through this stuff, and I'm processing just like you are. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm okay. And I'm sure my chat would check me if I'm wrong. I hope they would. God, please, you better. Great episode. This will be partially edited and put on YouTube, or I may not edit it at all and just throw it on YouTube. I haven't decided yet. I'll figure it out, but it will definitely be on Patreon tonight. So don't worry. For those who are on Patreon, it will be available for you all. Yeah, that's it. This is the Beyond Legend podcast, episode 3, signing out. And the next episode, we'll be talking about anime nostalgia with King Recon, our GOAT. So stay tuned for that. And we got some more guests coming. So this is going to be good. Stay tuned for all of that. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Take care.